5-1. It's 5
Who's winning?
to 1. The Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets.
Nah.
5-1.
Nah.
5-1. Do you know what I keep threatening and thinking about doing on the show?
What's that?
Is when the show starts.
Yep.
It kicks on.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a Columbus Crew shirt.
It would kick off immediately. I know how to shut this show down now. I have access to shut this down immediately. You've given me power.
I've given you too much power.
Yeah.
Why did I do that?
Yeah. Yep.
Why did I
I'll
do
shut this
that?
down right now. Anyway, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, dude?
I'm happy that I know that my mic sounds a lot better now than it has last week. In the move, I forgot to switch microphones over, so apparently I was talking through a webcam. I was talking through there, and
who's talking through the
here.
webcam, not through the microphone.
I was talking to this, thinking it was working, but
it makes me just have a
hopefully it
moment
works
where I
better
do
now.
go look at mine. Yeah, my microphone's set up properly. We're rocking and rolling. This is Two Dudes Wearing Hats. I'm Mike.
I'm Brendon.
We are here live on YouTube or on Twitch. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, do all of those cool things. Click the subscribe button. Follow, put up the notifications on. We do this once a week around 9 p.m., usually on Thursdays or Fridays live. Or you can also get this wherever you get your podcasts, usually a day or two after the show. So how are you?
Usually, I'm good.
The background's looking a little bit more put together.
I'm adding more and more. More scarves are being added over here on the side. Okay. I've got the megaphone hanging up there. We're gonna fill in this area with some more scarves too, and I need to fill out the bar, but the cameras are up in their spots, and yeah, it's coming together pretty well.
I got a few things going on now, a few new things. This has been the blankest wall for the longest time behind me in this room, and just recently started putting some things up there. My wife got me the National Lampoon's poster, my favorite movie of all time.
I really like that.
It was Christmas earlier this week, and that was one of the things she got me. I loved it, as well as this Cincinnati Bengals. It's Paycor Stadium. It's like one of those 3D art pieces, so the stadium pieces like layer down into the wood.
Yeah.
Over the stadium, so that's pretty cool.
One of my favorites was, as a kid, was the opening cartoon of National Lampoon's Christmas. The opening cartoon of Santa just going through the just nightmare night. Yeah, exactly. I have a new glass. I'm ready to pour its first. I'm ready to pour its first drink.
Ooh, what? That is a
It's a skull.
That's a tough looking glass. That's hard glassware for hard drinks.
We are going with almost the end of the Four Roses single barrel, but it does look good in that glass. It almost has a tiki look to it.
It does. I would be very, but I'd be very happy if that like was how like a painkiller or a zombie was served to me.
Oh, in this glass, I could see that.
So I am actually drinking Down Home. This was a gift from I feel like the first show is just me talking about here's all the things that my wife bought me for Christmas. Look at all
here's
the
my Christmas presents.
But this was also in that list of things. This is Down Home Straight Rye Whiskey. This is from Down Home Distillery out of Lawrence. It was distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. This is from Whiskey Thief Distilling Company out of Frankfort, Kentucky. It's 112 proof. 56% alcohol by volume. It's batch 1. From what I understand, this is a very small batch from a small company.
And you've got number 1 of a small batch from a small company.
That's pretty cool to have, sweet. I guess.
Heck yeah.
Good.
How's it taste?
It's really good. It's got a nice dark color to it. It's rye, so it's gonna have a little bit of a darker hue to it than your normal bourbon, but it's got some good spice notes to it.
You said it came in at 112?
Yeah, it comes at 112. It's not as hot. It doesn't feel as hot as you would think 112 would come in at.
Nice.
It's hot. Yeah. It's definitely hot. I've got a bunch of heat going on today, but it's not. It doesn't taste as hot as it could.
Good. Yeah. So far, still the same old Four Roses single barrel, all reliable. as
There's nothing wrong with
would
that.
say.
A lot of times I come back to the same whiskeys. I mean, I've been working off the same. It's getting low, but I've been working off the same Dad decanter for about the whole time that we've been doing
I'll
the
tell
show.
you this: so many times I will get a 6-pack of something,
Mm-hmm.
and just I don't go through the entire 6-pack. My
Right.
drinking night is tonight when we are on here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that Radler last week
Okay.
didn't last. It was so good. It might be my favorite thing I drank on the podcast brand new this year. If we were going to have if we could if a beer or a drink were to come to mind right now that we've had on the pod, I would say it would be the greatness of that or the horribleness of the licorice soda that you made me drink at one point when we were doing the previous show.
Yeah, for me, the worst thing would have been the ranch soda.
The
By
ranch
far.
soda was worst.
The ranch soda. I think back. Okay, so hold on. I drank bacon soda, and this is where in post
Not baking soda.
bacon BACON soda.
Soda.
Also, this is me thinking aloud. This is great when I put the episode together later and release it on YouTube. I cut in the clips of like bacon soda, ranch soda, just real like 3-second little clips. Anyway, back into the conversation.
So if you guys want to check that out later on,
it'll
tune in later,
somewhere.
and we'll have a clip of Mike making a face over ranch soda.
Absolutely. So, but I think that definitely takes it's either bacon or ranch takes the cake for worst. I would say my favorite thing I've probably had in 2024 was.
Is there anything that stands out you remember having?
That's the thing.
Even if it wasn't
I don't
want to
sit there and be like it's a mediocre year.
No, it's fine.
Okay,
It
so
happens to
actually,
be.
I did have it on the show. I think I'll say that my favorite beer of 2024, if I had to say what thing I liked the most, is Getaway Brewing's Tuk Tuk. They're out of Columbus. Go figure. But it is a rice lager. So it's very light, very crisp. It's a very nice, cold, crispy boy. That's probably my favorite beer that I've had this year. So I know I had a can on the show at some point. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably chalk that up. We're gonna have to in 2025 be a little bit
better.
more. We're gonna have to be a little bit more deliberate. I'm thinking we can put something on the site.
Will we actually have like a rating scale? Like,
do we want to do that? Do we want to? I'm literally wearing my.
How many hats would you give this? It's
I'm
5
wearing
hats.
I'm wearing my I hate Dave Meltzer T-shirt. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's the best moment to make like a
5-star, a
5
rating,
a 5 hat scale, and it's going to be 7 hats if it's a
if it's
Japanese
just over
whiskey.
the top. If it's a Yamazaki gets right off the bat.
They get 7 hats.
Yeah. Anything from Suntory.
Anybody who's not a wrestling fan is like who? They don't get that joke. They don't get that reference.
That's fine. I got it, and that's what matters.
So I think we will have to be a little bit more deliberate in 2025. We do this show every week, so I think we can probably start. Even if we don't rank them, I think we document everything and maybe put our thoughts on it. That's something we could probably get ready because this is the last show.
It'd be fun to keep track of. It is.
So I think the next week being the next show or the first show of 2025, we'll go ahead and kick that off. So whatever we drink, we're going to go ahead and keep track of. Luckily, we've got this new system we've been using that records everything for us and documents everything and even gives us the transcripts and does all the work for us. So we'll be able to track that.
We got a system that lets us be lazy but make it look like we're not.
Lazy but deliberate.
Bob got the reference.
Bob
got the reference. At
Somebody
least someone did. Thank you, Bob.
Yes.
So I got to tell you,
man.
Who? Evil Bob?
Dave Meltzer.
Oh, you meant Dave Meltzer. I thought you meant Bob, our enemy on Mario Kart.
I jokingly dislike Bob. I love Bob. But Bob's my was he Shredder?
He's your Shredder.
He's my Dr. Robotnik. Yeah.
Last night I played Hero Quest with Bob and Son of Bob and Melissa. There is Son of Bob.
Son of Bob.
Son of Bob.
Is Son of Bob an adult?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know. I didn't know if Son of Bob was the reasoning and terminology for
Yeah,
like it's child.
he has a Switch as well. Maybe we even
It's a
get him on
minor.
there, and there's a second enemy, Son of Bob. We can actually like talk shit to him. Oh, he's of age that he can have beers
We
with
can.
us, and yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just going
yeah.
to develop
Bob's
conflict
like
with generations of an entire family. I'm just going to start like a
Bob's damn near
lifelong.
70, so his son is like. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Bob.
I mean, it is what it is. And people who watch this who don't know who Bob is are just like, who is this Bob person that they're
It's
always making fun of and always picking on this show? Is he real? Is
if
he a
you've watched this
person?
game, you know that he's like an NPC. That's a
It's
dick.
it's a fake voice. It's a recording that I'm playing in the background when we play the show. He's not real. We just
All
we
right.
just named a bot.
We
We just
named a
named a bot.
bot. we
There it
and we
is.
did and we didn't really go too far with it. We could be dyslexic and not even know. Let's go with Bob.
There you
All
go.
right, that sounds good. All right.
There you go.
All right, so I've been playing Indiana Jones. I can't stop.
You've been on there a lot. I've seen you. You've even gone on. You've streamed on this channel
Yeah,
a
I
few
try. Well, I
times
tried the
through it.
first time and
We got it
didn't have a
fixed.
lot of
Don't worry about
success.
that part. We got it fixed.
Because one of the
So
things sound-wise that is the most amazing thing, and I don't know if you heard any of it, but the voice of Indiana
is it
Jones
like
is
it's
dead on. I think the guy's name is Troy something. I forgot. He won the award at the Game Awards. Harrison Ford came out and said, "If I knew he was going to do this good, I would have just done it myself." Um, it's unbelievable. It's a young Indy. It's Indy grunting as he pulls himself up the whip, like little things like Harrison Ford's as he swings across a cavern and like I don't know. And the way the thing plays, it's a playful Indiana. It feels like I'm so I'm so thrilled that it's a game and I can try to solve these puzzles myself. Some of them are a little difficult, but I wish it were a movie because so far I'm really into the story. They are
I mean,
really doing justice
without
to
getting
the
too meta in the conversation, I mean, video games really are movies. I
yeah,
mean, you really are getting one when you think about the scale, the videos. I think even about like Metal Gear Solid games being
the amount
like
of
almost
production that goes
movies.
into them and
Yeah, the
yeah,
amount the amount of work, the actors, the time. I mean, it pretty
the
much is.
voice acting. I mean, yeah, and it's
So, would you say it's an adventure game, an action game?
I'll tell you what, it's a little bit of adventure, a lot of action.
Is it just dude Tomb Raider? Like an idiot like me
No,
would assume?
no,
No.
the kicking off into like it seamlessly transitions from cutscenes. The classic Indiana Jones travel sequences of the music with the line on the
The
map.
red line going through the
I mean,
map, that
oh man,
iconic moment. I love it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You have a journal and a camera, and as you're taking pictures of things along the way, it keeps them in your journal, and you're studying the things later as parts of a puzzle. There's not a lot that I want to say to give away, but it starts in Vatican City, and I will say that it felt like I was playing a Da Vinci Code movie. There's a little bit of fast traveling, but you never really use it. There's no need, but it's first person perspective walking around 1937 fascist controlled Vatican
Oh,
with
that sounds like a
Mussolini's
blast.
people with Mussolini's people. Yeah, 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 but you can whip those guys in the face every now and then.
Okay.
Um, but it's unbelievable how good how good some of the puzzles are. Just it's a fun game, but when you're trying to do stealth, it's hard doing stealth on a first person. It feels like a little bit trying to like grasp
So the
that
game is completely first person.
completely first person. Unless you're like climbing a wall or something, then it's in a third person.
See, that
It
feels a
goes
little.
into cinematics a lot. Like it's hard to describe. It goes into first person for the most. There's the cinematic sequences and then like little traversal things you'll see Indy
Yeah.
as he swings across the cavern and whatnot.
See, I feel like I would contest with that part because I enjoy being able to. I feel like in a game like that, I want to see the dude, the whip, the motion,
I'll
the
tell you what,
thing.
I felt the same way because I'm not the biggest first person fan, but I'm having a blast
Yeah,
with it.
you don't play as many first person. I love a good
No.
first person shooter. I'm a big fan of old school Doom games. I will play those games into the dirt. Um, but yeah, I don't see you playing a lot of first person games.
No, I usually don't. It I don't know. It never feels as real to me. Like I'd prefer to be in VR if I'm messing around with a first person game. You know what I mean?
So,
I feel like I don't know, or I need to be in front of a big IMAX or a T. I want it to be immersive, and a lot of first person games up until this technology have not grasped immersive. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I'm
yeah.
having fist fights on this game, and that's hard to translate into a first person thing.
Is it shoulder
As
button clicking? Is
uh
like left or right shoulder buttons your fists?
no, right trigger, left
Oh,
trigger is a fist, but left
okay.
bumper is a block, like a put up your hand to block and then
Okay, so,
throw
but
back
I
a
could go
haymaker.
like left, left, right, right, left,
Yeah,
left,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
left, right.
yeah.
Okay, like
But
that'd
it's
be fun.
more heavy throwing up. But you're not going to go left left because you're not throwing that fast. You're it's these nasty Indiana Jones haymakers. Kapow!
I
Like
mean, that's what
I
you
don't know.
want. You
Yeah,
want to throw them against the wall. You don't want it to feel like a wrestling game.
yeah, yeah.
I replayed one lately and it was not very fun.
I don't even want to talk to you.
I,
We'll talk about it later
it's
on.
not fun. I don't enjoy
You,
it.
then
I don't enjoy AEW Fight Forever.
you didn't enjoy the original THQ games
They're
because
not the
it's
same
just
game.
another
Don't
one of
pretend they are.
those.
Stop.
It is
People need to stop
100%,
pretending they're the same game.
100%.
They absolutely are not.
They absolutely
They,
are.
it should have been. If you want to do that, play the actual like the Fire Pro Wrestling that's on PlayStation 4. Fire Pro Wrestling, that game does it better.
There's a retro wrestling game if I'm not mistaken. It has like
Retromania.
Retromania. I've heard good things about that. It's got
It
some
looks
great
like
classic
Wrestle.
people. It's got LOD. It's
It's in the
got
vein of WrestleFest, right?
yeah.
Like that art style.
I feel like it's got like is it Adrian Adon? Like there's some
Mm-hmm.
classic people that
Austin Idol, Colt Cabana was in that.
Doom meets
Uh,
Legend of Tomb
Matt
Raider. I like that.
Cardona.
I like that comment, Bob. Doom meets Legend of Tomb Raider. It's the people who made Wolfenstein. So it's
Wait,
not their
wait. Indiana Jones
yeah.
is made by id Software.
I believe so.
That's
I
the
just
people who
know.
made Doom.
No. It's made by the people who made Wolfenstein.
The
He
people who made
said,
Wolfenstein made Doom. It's the
"Oh,
same
is it?
people. Yeah, it's the same
Oh,
company.
okay."
Yeah.
From what I understand, the last big thing for this company was Wolfenstein
Oh
before
yeah, I mean
Indy,
yeah, yeah.
and
But that makes sense because like they already are involved in that kind of like, hey, make a World War II town or make an Italian like 1940s. You know what I mean? Like they've done that. So that's I guess that's a
you
leg up.
guys, you guys did Castle Wolfenstein. You want to do Indiana Jones? You still got those swastikas in your bank of
Take out the
files
demon
and stuff.
Nazis and put
Yeah,
in like real Nazis.
yeah, pretty much. The Egyptian archaeologist or the German archaeologist Voss, the
Mhm.
bad guy in it. Oh, it's such a good Indiana Jones bad guy. Oh, Dr. Jones. Oh man, and like the
Okay,
way
so
and
I
you
love
can
when
be
they have a
your
villain that calls him Doctor Jones, like Doctor
oh 100%. And I mean everybody kind of calls him Doctor.
Jones.
It feels like the movie. It has the
Yeah.
same little string notes in the background, the same adventure exploring music. It's if you're a fan of Indiana Jones and you have access to play this, there's no reason you shouldn't give it an hour or two. Just even if it doesn't feel like your thing, experience the greatness of how Indy's voice sounds, number one, and go and keep reminding yourself that's not Harrison Ford. Are you kidding me? And just the fun of it feels like hearing the music, everything, it just kind of gets you in that adventure mood. I mean, who doesn't want to be Indiana Jones?
I'll watch you play it.
Okay, well,
I'm not
I've
gonna
made
play
it.
it.
I've made it to my next area of it.
That's a
I've
phrase
gotten
also out
through.
of love. I just want to be clear about that to people watching this. That's not me saying I'm not going to play it because I think it's going to be a bad game. It's probably an
Nope.
amazing, wonderful, fantastic game. There's just a lot of games I'm not going to play it.
A lot of people are calling it possible game of the year and saying it might not get it just because of how close it came out to the end of the year. But there's other games of the year like Elden. What was the Elden Ring? The Erd
The ex-
Tree or
yeah,
the
Shadow of the Erd Tree for Elden
That
Ring, the
that
expansion
was
of that.
highly rated.
I still haven't
Astrobot.
gotten through the first part
Oh, really?
of Elden Ring. It's man,
How far would you say you're into
difficult.
it? Hour wise, or like not
Oh,
that far?
oh no,
You're deep in it.
I'm about 50 to 60 hours in.
Wow.
Um, I'd say I'm about 10 to 12% into the game. I'm just past the first major villain checkpoint, kind of.
Yeah.
Major villain. There are some villains like what without jumping too much into people who've never got to play Elden Ring. Did Elden Ring come out in 2024 or was that a game in 2023? The first part.
It may have been 20. It may have come out earlier. I don't
Anyway,
know.
it probably was 2023. So the when you start that game,
Yep.
you're gonna think, oh, I'm gonna go fight this thing right here, right in front of me, right when I start the game. You don't want to do that. You can't beat that thing. And then you're gonna go a little bit down a little road, and you'll be like, oh, I can fight this thing. You can't beat that thing either.
Yeah. Did you
That's
ever
the
mess
thing.
with Skyrim at all?
I started. No, I did. Which is the one where you're saving a king and you're going through a sewer in the
That was
very
probably
beginning?
Oblivion.
I played that one.
I think that was Oblivion. Skyrim, I couldn't get into Oblivion. Skyrim, I absolutely have started so many times, and it's so much fun. But at the beginning, you can walk around to an area where you just look over the side. You're like, hey, it's a giant. He looks peaceful. I'm gonna shoot him. And then you just realize how quickly you can die in one swing. Like, you are
That's
not
Elden
ready
Ring.
for this. You are not prepared for this. You need to go away for a while and come back and think about what you've done, basically.
That is 100% Elden Ring.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, what would be, is there a game this year that you think you've played the most or would be your favorite, or
Mm.
what stands out to you? We'll start with games. I mean, I know we've got a couple we were going to talk about,
Yeah.
TV shows or movies or.
And we'll start with games. And I think as far as games go, I, the game I probably enjoyed the most and got the most play out of was college football 25.
That might have to be my sports game of the year.
I think that's the
It's
thing that probably
that
got
or it's
put the most
NBA.
in, done the most.
It's that or it's NBA 2K25 for me, and that's shocking coming from a guy who it's religiously FIFA or religiously FC. But the NBA presentation is so well done,
Okay.
and so it feels like a
You
TV
talk about
show.
that a lot about how well and how fun
You feel like you're
the
just
game is.
watching the TV broadcast and they're talking about your game and they're showing the highlights
Mhm.
from your game and
Yeah.
the stats over the last five and Shaq's making fun of you and I don't know, but I like you. I would say that I played college football maybe the most now of the sports games. You think you played it the most of any game?
I definitely think I played that. I played that the most out of any game, out of any 2024 released game.
Gotcha.
Well, what game that I probably turn on the most would probably actually hold on. I got to pause that entire thought
Are
because
you sure it's not something on Switch?
right up there with college football,
Yeah.
I would probably put Helldivers.
Oh
I put a
yeah.
lot of time into Helldivers 2 in the beginning of 2024.
What happened to that? We need to maybe give that a try
I've gone back on
again.
it. They've actually
I the Illuminant has shown up, I
yeah,
heard.
there's a third group that's shown up. That game is totally worth picking back up. I played it like a week ago, and it still hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get back
Might be
into that.
worth.
We can play that
Might
on
be worth.
this.
Yeah. Maybe next week we hit a little bit of hell diving for people to see.
Absolutely.
Um. Well, I think for me, the one that I played I don't know. This Indiana Jones game is very close to already being one of my favorites. Although
Yeah.
I did just gift myself for Christmas, damn you Xbox, and your 50 to 60% off sale. Um, a game that many people have said is one of the best horror games ever made, or psychological horrors, and it's a sequel to one of my favorite games ever, and that would be Alan Wake 2. I picked it up, and I'm looking forward to starting it. Am I going to start it tonight? It's very tempting. It's hard to say. Indie is also tempting to play. I re-downloaded Spider-Man 2, and there's also just nothing more fun than traversing a city and whipping ass as Spider-Man. So we'll see.
It's that time of year where a lot of the online games are really, really fun. I played a lot of
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto over the past couple of weeks
Oh
because
yeah.
getting to go around Grand Theft Auto in the winter snow
Oh,
and
they
in
added
that
the snow
period of
again.
time. Oh, absolutely. It's Christmas time there right now. Your apartment is decorated with a Christmas tree and presents. Your my biker gang my clubhouse is
Your
decorated for
club.
Christmas. I've my office in my nightclub has a Christmas tree in it. I was able to get they give you all the free gear. So my dude was walking around in elf shoes, a Santa hat, and a goofy Christmas sweater, riding around on a motorcycle, clacking at people, just bing 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 bing.
That's great.
Oh, I love it. I went and popped into DayZ, and in
Oh yeah.
DayZ you can find Christmas trees in certain towns, and there will be presents under the Christmas trees, and it's shit you want. It is
Yeah.
like brisket spreads, which is like that's the food.
It's better than
It's
eating human meat in your post-apocalyptic world.
the food in DayZ, because you got to think
Yeah.
it's a very Russian game. So you'll pick up like, oh, this is pachka and brisket spread, and then here's like salt crisps. So you're like, what is all of it? But you got to eat it because it's stuff to keep you alive. But you can
Merry
tell the
Christmas.
European influence of that game at certain points is in the food.
Bob
Um,
said he's PUBG for
PUBG.
the year. PUBG, Player Unknown Battlegrounds. Did you ever play that?
I got a little bit into it. Like, I'll be honest, I gave all of
DayZ
those
feels
style
a
of
lot like it.
games a shot when they first popped off.
The Fortnite,
Fortnite,
PUBG,
PUBG,
yeah.
Apex,
Oh, Apex Legends.
Apex Legends. I pretty much
Yeah.
tried all of them. I did also. I bought. I was a. What's it called when you like buy into the game right when it first.
Oh, you were in the beta.
Like the beta pioneer
Okay.
a game called I'm gonna say it Vigor, Vigor,
Yeah.
Vigor. It's like it's made by the people that made DayZ. That's why I got it, because it was the next game that they made. And I was like, oh, I definitely want to try the next thing that these people do. They tried to combine DayZ with Call of Duty. So essentially, in this game, and it's on Switch, and
Interesting.
it's not terrible if you can get a very good price, but so you have a home base that you kind of start off at, and you can like do silly little like kind of Fortnite-ish things for that. When you go do missions, you can get like wood and things to upgrade it, make it nicer, cosmetic things. Also, you can like increase the base factor of it.
Yeah.
Um, but the main function of the game is you go into these online matches where you're in like an an open field with a couple of houses or maybe like a little lake and a couple cabins, and you have to accomplish like find this thing, find this phone signal and turn it off, do these things throughout this map while
Yep.
other people are trying to do the same thing, and they have guns and weapons, and that kind of turns it into a shooting game, into Call of Duty essentially. uh, Fun game. I still have it on Switch. Every once in a while I'll pop it in and mess around with it,
Now, my
but
question
I
for
don't think
you
it's
is,
really, it hasn't popped off. Good.
yeah, my question for you, I know you play a lot of games with the family and the daughter. Wouldn't you say wouldn't one of the Mario parties be on your list as one of the better games this year, or are you Mario partied out?
Well, okay, actually, let me. So I actually should have sat and thought about what released in 2025, because if we're actually thinking about
2024.
Switch, or in 2024, thinking about the Nintendo Switch off the top of my head alone,
This is the year I got
Mario
my
Wonder.
Switch. So you know what? In general, the Switch itself was the biggest game thing for me. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you.
no, you're good.
Because I actually got a Switch this year, and the portability, the playability, the family nature, the return of the feeling of Wii and bowling
Yeah,
and things
yeah.
like that, and the user friendliness. I mean, I take it to work with me, and I play it on downtime out in the break room. A few of us will play
That's what
head
it's
to
great
head,
for.
and it's just it's great. But yeah, sorry, continue.
No,
What were you
no.
saying?
So actually, because of, and that's a good point, because playing the Switch with my daughter, I would say I've played a lot of Mario Party. I've played a lot of the new Mario Party Jamboree. Also with my wife, we played all the way through Mario Wonder.
I need to get Jamboree.
Mario Wonder is
What is
fantastic,
Mario
though.
Wonder?
It's the newest like side-scrolling Mario adventure game. Now, what this one has, it's like a normal Mario game where you go to these different worlds. You're fighting Bowser. You're platforming. It's that kind of game. But this has the wonder factor. You'll find these wonder seeds, and it will change the level into something completely different. The wonder seed will actually do something like you'll be playing the normal game, all of a sudden it'll turn sideways and then fire will start chasing you across the map.
Oh,
Or all of a sudden it turns into you're floating through space, and now you have to like catch these different, it just kind of twists the game on its ear a little bit and adds these different elements to it.
did you get to mess with Mario Odyssey at all?
We played Mario Odyssey, beat Mario Odyssey. That game
Okay.
is fantastic. I
I
can't
didn't go that
recommend that
far
game enough.
into it. Bob let me borrow it. He's not
Yeah.
that evil in real life. He's just evil online. Um, he let me borrow it, and I got to say that was a lot of fun. The way that it can transition and give you that amazing feeling from the 3D feel to the 2D
The
feel
2D.
as
Have
you
you
go up the
So you
side.
haven't beaten that game?
No, I've
Okay.
only gotten through like the first two levels,
You need to do
maybe.
yourself a favor and get deep into that game. That particular mechanic. There's a part in the end of the game, the last world, New Donk City, and
New what?
that
Donk?
I shouldn't have told you. Yes, it's there. I'm not. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's a
Okay.
city. It's called New Donk City. Um, that alone is worth getting to the end of the game for to that part of the game, because
Yeah.
that part where it turns into a 2D game is probably one of my favorite like 2 minutes in video games ever.
That's a
Like
hell of a testament.
that moment is incredible. And Mario Wonder does a lot of those kind of little like here's a quick fast moment. If you were to say what game should I go buy for myself to play all the way through and just to have fun,
Yeah.
Mario Wonder. You can
Mario
two-player
Wonder.
it with somebody, and
Okay.
that makes it a fun like little adventure. You can sit on the couch with somebody and play that game. It's a lot of fun.
I'll have
I
to
will I
check
will
that out.
recommend Mario Wonder all day long. I'm glad I wasn't even thinking of Switch, so I'm glad you brought up the Switch because now
It's
it's kind
funny
of games
because
are popping into my head
yeah,
that I played on the
I got
Switch
my
this year.
Switch this year, and it brought back some nostalgia for me. It brought some new games to me. I was never a Zelda guy, but
Right.
if Zelda what's the first one? Breath of the Wild, not Breath of the Wild. Is it Breath of the
Breath of the
Wild is
Wild
the
is the
first
first
one?
Switch one, yeah.
Yeah. Um if that isn't some of the best artwork and just cool,
Oh, it's
it feels
gorgeous.
like
That
you're
game's
watching
gorgeous.
a graphic novel play, or not even a graphic novel, just a cool animated show play out.
Right.
It's really really nice.
Hmm.
Um, before we get into TV or movie shows that we remember that stand out, I feel like
You
I
want to
need
drink
to
a
have a
beer?
beer. I do want to drink a beer. I finished my whiskey.
All right, you show the people
Um,
your beer while I grab mine.
oh, you got to get yours.
Oh, nope.
Okay.
Hold on.
Nope. You gonna? Nope. You're almost there. There we
There you go.
go. Hey, you know what's
We'll figure it out.
amazing? You know what's amazing is I actually have a matching glass this week. So the glass is Country Boy, and the beer is going to be Country Boy, and it's one of my favorites. I will admit that I have had this beer before, but I
They
haven't
make
had
good
it in a
stuff.
long time, and it is Shotgun Wedding.
Ooh. I love
It is a
Shotgun
vanilla
Wedding.
brown ale. It's a brown ale aged on vanilla beans,
Hmm.
and you know I love to read the side. Go ahead, pop the top, do something spontaneous. This light brown ale aged on real vanilla beans is sure to become one of your favorites. Just enough malt to balance the sweetness. Shotgun Wedding is a decision you will never regret. Um, I forgot who it was, but someone used to make a Shotgun Wedding beer cheese that was delicious.
We used to make a Shotgun Wedding cocktail.
We did, didn't we?
We made a cocktail with orgeat, rum, be that beer, and vanilla syrup, and then we would put a gummy cola bottle in it.
Mm, a
And
gummy
then that
cola
was,
bottle.
yeah, we would shake it up and get it froth. We would shake the stuff up, put it in there, put the beer on top of it, and then we would put the gummy cola bottle in there. I can't remember the name of the cocktail, but you and I used to make that cocktail. That was on a menu at a place that we worked at. Um,
I gave
But
one to
yeah,
Bob last night. I took one over when we played our Hero Quest last night. It was Melissa, son of Bob, and my son. I just want to keep saying son of Bob.
son
Uh,
of Bob.
I gave him one. He thinks it's not bad. It's not an everyday, but good with ice cream. I didn't even think about it with ice cream.
So I've actually got something a little bit in the same uh, wheelhouse.
Ooh,
I'm gonna say as far as flavor profiles go,
oh, something
because
vanilla maybe.
I got to tell you what, you're gonna be smitten.
Uh-oh. Does it rhyme
Kit,
with smitten?
kitten mittens.
Oh my God, there's a kitten mittens.
You'll be smitten. This is from Mirror Twin Brewing from Lexington, Kentucky. This
You've
is
seen
their
that episode,
kitten
right?
mittens. I love that episode. This
That's
show
a great
lives in my
episode.
mind every single day. Are you kidding me?
Dicktow.com.
Dicktow.com. I used to be in a band sponsored by Dicktow. I was in a band, and after that episode came out, we hit them up and we begged them, and they sent us a couple, and we were like, sponsor. We were a shitty metal band. Nobody gave a shit about it.
Did
But
you
we were
wrap
like,
them
we were able
around
to
you on
say
stage?
we
Did you
brought
wear
them
them
on
out on
tour. We
stage?
brought them on tour, and we brought them on stage one time, but nobody
Unbelievable.
got it. We didn't do it again. We just kind
Oh,
of had them with us, and like
yeah.
our drummer would like actually use them after playing. He would use the towels as like towels, and then like wrap them around his waist and walk around with it
That's
on.
funny.
But this is Kitten Mittens from Mirror Twin Brewing.
How
It
do you
is
not get a cease and desist
just
for
a
that?
porter, 6% ABV. Here's the description: just a porter, 6% ABV, 100% meow. One size fits all.
Me,
You'll be
yeah.
smitten. Elegant and comfortable. One of a kind beer for one of a kind people. This is Mirror Twin Brewing. It
That
says it's a
episode is
porter.
called Kitten Mittens, right? I'm pretty sure the episode is titled Kitten
Yeah, because
Mittens.
it's the start of the episode. It's
For those of you that
or
don't
no, the
know,
gang. It's or is it something? No, because it's something like the gang markets or the gang sells. Because it's all about they go to like a trade show or something, right? The gang goes to a trade show.
yeah, they each start coming up with their ideas. The shotgun
Yeah,
shot. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about,
egg.
it's always sunny
Patty's
in
egg.
Philadelphia, and you must check that episode out. Even just the first 2 minutes of the Kitten Mittens.
But that is a porter. That is a dark, rich, roasty
Man,
looking
that is
porter.
pretty looking.
6% ABV.
This is much lighter drinking than it looks. It looks very.
I'm gonna say the same thing. I love a beer that looks dark but doesn't drink that way.
It's what I used to love about black IPAs or dark
Oh, I had a
IPAs.
great
And
one like last week, man. I love black IPAs.
where was that from?
Mad Tree Brew. No. Mad Tree has a place called in OTR. My wife and I last week went to like a date night dinner. We went to Pep and Dolores over in
Oh,
OTR. It's like
nice.
a really nice Italian place.
Yum.
And before that, we went to I think it's called the Atrium. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a Mad Tree affiliate kind of place. They serve all of their beer. It's kind of like their little offshoot, and they
Yeah.
had a black IPA on
Gotcha.
on
We used
tap,
to
and
make
it
one at
was
one of the
delicious.
breweries I worked at called Darkness. I mean, the brewery was Darkness, so yeah, they liked a lot of dark beers,
Hmm.
but it was fun to see dark beers that drank light where you could
Yep.
almost see the confusion on people like, oh wow, like if you were blindfolded you would not realize that that beer is as dark because people automatically want to
Right.
say that dark beers are heavy. Or how many times have
Well,
you
because we've
told
been so
somebody like,
conditioned that way from things like Guinness
yeah,
and like all those other like super stouty beers.
stouts, porters,
Like
yeah,
you can
yeah,
just get stuff that color just from roast. It doesn't have to be from like the heaviness, the heaviness,
the heaviness.
heaviness. Hello, heaviness. Wasn't that like a Rodney Dangerfield bit? It's like
Hello heaviness.
I wake up with a heaviness on my chest. I look over every morning. I say, "Hello, heaviness." So he's like talking about his wife, calling her heaviness.
No, but it sounds like it could be.
It sounds like I think that's a
It
Rodney
sounds like it
Dangerfield
could
bit.
be.
If not, you can have that one, Rodney.
I'm sure he's thanking you for it from
He
beyond.
he appreciates that.
Is there a show this year that was one of your favorites, or
So as
is
far
there
as
anything that
shows
stands
go,
out TV wise that you watch the most?
I'm gonna sound like a dork when I say
Nope,
this.
that's fine.
I think
It's 'cause
WWE
you
has
are.
stepped their product across the board up, and I don't want to get into a wrestling conversation right now, but like in a nutshell, I will say this: WWE has stepped their product up, changed the way they do things, and I think right now it's the best. It's the first off, it's the best it's been in years, and it's a lot of fun to watch. I'm very excited for Monday Night Raw moving to Netflix. I'm very excited for the things that they're going to do when they get on that show. Episode title, you'll see it down there for the kitten mittens. Thank you, Bob.
That's gonna be when I get back into it more, is when they go to Netflix. I haven't watched AEW, I haven't watched WWE, I haven't watched anything. I've just kind of checked out. But then again, their move to certain networks changed the way that, unfortunately, for people who wanted to watch them on Hulu next morning, that hasn't been an option the last few months, which it always was an option. But when they
Right.
changed networks recently, it doesn't appear on Hulu anymore. So for me, as somebody who doesn't watch it live and likes to catch it next day, because I work until 5 in the morning and I'm working while it's on, I'm very excited for it to finally be on Netflix. I'm
Yeah.
excited that AEW is going to be on Max. I'm excited that AEW is now doing smaller venues and there's some stuff going on that could be good.
I,
I've
I,
just
I
been hearing from the
100% applaud
outside.
them for
I'm
that,
just
doing
hearing it
those
from the
venues.
outside. I mean, they're doing a venue here, the Brady Music Center, a 2 night thing
4,800
that
cap.
it could be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, some of the most fun I had was that Ring of Honor show that we went to in Columbus. What was that one?
That was at Kemba
I
Live
saw
in
you there.
Columbus, Ohio. That was Ring of Honor. Well, there was a period, and that's
That
why.
there, and then the TNA show that was down in Newport. Those
Oh,
two shows were some of the most fun I've had, and watching those filmings, and those shows proved those shows proved why the old NWA worked back in the day and stuff like that. You just need a live crowd, and you
here's
don't
what I'll
need
say
to
about that.
over. Yeah,
Here's what I'll say about that. This is why when people say I'm an AEW hater, I tell them to shove it up their ass.
yeah.
Because you and I went and have seen, and my wife and I went to so many of those Ring of Honor shows from that period that were AEW done better. So like that's why when like I AEW has better television, they have a better network, they have bigger production and more money. I gave more of a shit about the people in that Ring of Honor show, and the people that went gave more of a shit about that Ring of Honor show and cared more about the characters than I do about AEW, those characters that they use. The I don't want to jump off this bridge right now. The Death Riders stuff is unwatchable.
I
It's
haven't seen anything lately.
unwatchable. I love John Moxley as I love I root for that guy,
I love
but the
Marina
stuff they're
Shafir.
doing right
I
now
think
is awful.
I don't know. I kind of like the little bits that I've seen, but we will see.
Trying to pour bleach down people's throats and doing this weird like we're gonna murder people except for the camera guys because we need them to come film us do 3 minute speeches and drive trucks through the desert. Like it's you can't be anti-stat, you can't be anti-system and like producing full. It doesn't line up.
You know what my favorite thing the Shield used to do was?
Come to the crowd.
No. It was
Shoot the
very simple.
venues in the like looking down at a camera.
Yes, it would start with picking up the camera and putting down the camera themselves. That was one of the
Yep.
coolest things the Shield used to do to me. Like that, I was like, shh. It was almost like the NWO productions. The NWO productions were always different. They were always in black and white. Like like we actually thought that they couldn't afford color TV back then. Like these guys, these
Oh,
silly guys, they're still in the black and white days.
that's
Um,
fantastic.
I haven't watched as much wrestling. I will tell you the show this year that I really think is one of the funniest comedies, and I would recommend it to anyone. I've gotten my parents hooked on it, and it wouldn't seem like a show that I still think it's a show that anybody would be into, and that's What We Do in the Shadows. It just ran
It's
its
on my list.
finale. It just ran its finale. Some of the best cameos you'll see in nerddom of people throughout, but also just the cast of three is phenomenal. And they just hit their finale, and it's one of those deals. I don't know if you've ever done this. You ever watched a show and you get up to the finale and you're just putting it off? Like I don't want to watch it right now. Like I haven't. The finale's been out for a few weeks, but I won't watch it yet.
I'm doing that. We're kind of pushing back watching the last bit of Community because we started
Okay.
watching Community from the beginning, and I really like it. So we're like kind of pacing out this season because I
I
don't want
like
it to
Joel
end.
McHale. I like Ken Jeong. Like maybe I should
Um,
watch Community. I don't know.
Chevy Chase
Sell me
is
on Community.
okay. Here's how I'll sell you on Community. Do you like Rick and Morty?
I've never watched Rick and Morty.
Okay,
It's funny you say that
I
because
don't
I'm not
watch
going
Rick
to
and Morty.
mention what it is, but I got a kind of a Rick and Morty Christmas present. I won't mention what it is, but I've never watched Rick and Morty. It's
Fair,
never appealed to me. I've seen
yeah.
clips of it, and I'm like, I don't get why it's funny. Then again, I hated Family Guy when I first saw it. I hated Bob's Burgers when I first saw it. I watched it a second time, and then I forgot Colin, the energy vampire. God damn it, Bob.
So
Sorry. Anyway, continue.
no. It's. I'm trying to think of the best way to sell you on it.
Well, you're not doing
So
good.
no. So what I want to do, and I totally, my brain totally skipped and my train rerouted. What show were we talking about?
Community.
Community. Okay. So
You're losing your
we do
mind.
this live. So here's what I'm gonna tell you about Community.
Who's your drug guy? I want some of those. Whatever made you just forget what you're doing.
Right? Joel McHale.
That's
Joel
someone
McHale is
who's
great
your
in it.
drug guy.
Ken Jeong is great in it. But the Rick and Morty thing, it's made by the guy who makes Rick and Morty before he made Rick and Morty. And here's the thing. I don't watch Rick and Morty. But if Rick and Morty has the same reverence for classic television that Community does, it's probably a pretty good show.
Okay.
There's a character named Abed who I'm going to say is on the spectrum. And his character is on the spectrum, and part of what he does is relate to everything through TV. So like they did an entire Christmas episode that was in the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer old school animation style. They did a Peanuts cartoon once. Like they did like all these weird things. Like we just watched an episode where he copes with stress in his life by going to his happy place. His happy place is reimagining his life around him as a sitcom, as like a two-camera sitcom with a laugh track and everything. And then you've got Donald Glover, a young Donald Glover. You've got a couple other characters who really, really shine. And then you've got weird old Chevy Chase. Weird. And if you go and watch interviews of Joel McHale talking about his time on Community, from what he says, Chevy Chase was an asshole.
Really?
A complete asshole. There's a part of Joe McHale's book where apparently it's a chapter called How to Fist Fight Chevy Chase that literally is real from what he said. So it's very interesting to see old Chevy Chase kind of interacting with these new actors. But it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend Community. Yeah, it's just a fun ride.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and the thing for me is that's interesting. If we were to talk about movies, I don't watch a lot of movies. I think we may have talked about that. I just, it's funny. I say I don't want to sit down for an hour and a half or 2 hours of a movie, but I'll sit down and watch 7 episodes of a TV show back to back, which is like 2 movies back to back.
Right.
But I will say the movie that I remember the most from this year that I watched that amused me would have to be Wolverine and Deadpool. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
That one stands out to me still. I guess because of the anticipation around it. The I still remember that fight scene inside the minivan.
There's a lot to be said when you can tell that somebody really gives a shit about the project. Ryan Reynolds really gives a shit about Deadpool.
Yeah.
And playing the character and making it work and involving all of this stuff.
Since Wolverine Origins, he has wanted to change that Deadpool character, and once he did. It's awesome.
He changed the way comic book movies kind of are accepted now. Like
if I were to say
do
to
a rated
you,
R comic book movie now,
if I were to say to
10
you,
years ago.
Yeah, what comic book superhero was Ryan Reynolds? You're gonna say Deadpool. You're not gonna
after
say
Green Lantern.
You're not gonna say Green Lantern.
After Green Lantern,
you knew where I was going with it, but
and then after the random vampire, he was in Blade 3. He was in Blade trilogy as like some random.
Was he a random vampire?
That's why. There was a scene in Deadpool and Wolverine where Blade looks at him and goes. One of them One of them says something about never liking me or I never liked you or something like. There's
Yeah.
some line to that effect, and that is referencing that relationship in Deadpool. I think it's called Deadpool trilogy. I
Yeah.
think it's actually the third, or no, I think it's
Or
called
Blade.
Blade
Blade
trilogy. I'm
trilogy.
sorry, I think
Yeah.
it's called Blade trilogy. This is what happens when you do a podcast while drinking. Oh, the two
Exactly.
guys that drink while they do the show. It has to be like, no, it's real. Um, but I
Yeah,
think
I gotta
that
tell
was a
you,
reference
Bob,
to that.
I might agree with Bob as well. The Super Mario movie was awesome. I didn't think it was gonna be. I heard good things. I watched it. What a lot of fun that was.
It was fun to see, like, okay, kids have their new like
It made Toad my favorite
franchise
character.
for the next 10 years because they're gonna crank as soon as they crank a second one out, and once they prove the second one makes just as much money as the first, it's gonna be on like
Blade
crazy.
Trinity. Blade Trinity. Thank
Trinity, I
you.
was close. I was close.
Thanks to the
Blade
sober
Trinity.
guy who's doing our
um
research for us live.
yes, Bob will put facts in there because I don't say facts. I drink and I say things. I'm like the reverse version of the little guy.
Tyrion. You don't, instead of
Yeah,
drinking and knowing things, you just drink and say things.
I drink and guess at things. So I would say though, I agree with Deadpool Wolverine being the best. I think for who we are, you and I, the kind of things that we watch, the kind of things that we were into, it's probably top recommendation, right?
The movie I heard that's the best, and it's something I should watch because it was one of my favorite things as a kid that my father got me into, was Dune. Apparently, the second Dune this year, a lot of people are saying is one of the best movies if you're talking about IGN. And I think it's Metacritic is the one that I was looking at earlier who did a bunch of the movies. But Dune 2 won in a couple categories for their pick as the best this year.
More power to the fans of that franchise. It's just not for me.
You're not a Dune guy?
Right on.
Did you ever
It
watch
seems
any of
super
them?
interesting. Oh, I watched the originals as a kid. It was
Yeah,
one of
the
those
original as a kid is
when you get
intense.
into like sci-fi and you start seeing Star Wars and you start watching Star Trek. Eventually someone's going to tell you, "Hey, watch Dune. You should watch
Yeah.
Dune." So like I never really watched Dune as a kid, and I was like, "It's all right." And then I saw clips from the new one.
Yeah.
Not for me. Not
Gotcha.
for me. Looks great. Not for me.
I need to check it out. It does look great. I think it is going to be for me. It's just, it's that whole thing of getting me to sit down and actually do it,
Yeah.
commit to it, and watch it.
I
Speaking of
have
sitting down, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have two recommendations from 2024
Okay.
for movies that are actually very might be surprising. I just watched both of them in the past 2 weeks. I'm gonna say,
Nice. I'm very
um,
excited.
and both of them really got bad reviews and got kind of bad press around them.
Yeah.
The first one, Red One.
Really, I heard absolute shit reviews about it too. I heard them just bash that, and I don't know why because it felt very. It looked like it was gonna be fun to me.
I highly recommend it. I can't
Yeah,
recommend it enough. Here's the thing.
you
I
saw it in theaters, right?
I saw it. No, I saw it at my house. I saw Red
You
One
saw
at
it at
my
your
house.
house. Okay.
Here's what I'm gonna say. People who are out there saying like, "Oh, it was this and it was cheesy." It was. What were you going in expecting? Chris Evans and Dwayne the Rock Johnson doing a Christmas action movie where Santa is a buff dude who gets
Yeah.
kidnapped. Like, I'm sorry if I'm sorry, and this isn't like I'm not trying to like get props from the Rock or anything like that, but like
No.
if you're going in there expecting Hamlet, you're going in there expecting the wrong thing. It's a fun, stupid action movie
Yeah.
set during Christmas. It's a blast. There are moments that, and I'm gonna say this. I don't want to spoil this part.
Don't spoil shit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything because there's a joke that kind of exemplifies kind of the vibe of the movie about halfway through. That it it does it knows what it is. That movie really acknowledges it's not trying to be like, oh, this
Right.
is a soup, this is the Avengers. Like it looks like that, but like if you watch the movie, they're totally acknowledging it's a stupid Christmas action movie, and
All
it
right.
is a blast. Watch Red One.
So what's number two?
Joker Folie Deux.
Really?
Just watched it 2 days ago.
I haven't seen the first one, but I'm intrigued by both of them. It's not that I don't want to see it. It's not that I'm like you where I say that's not for me. I know in advance. The reasoning for me not seeing it is just I haven't seen it yet, but I'm very intrigued and curious by it.
The first one, in my opinion, the first one is mid. In
Okay.
my opinion, the first Joker movie is okay. It's kind of a dorky movie for like I meant the world. This is how I. The second movie agrees with me about the first movie. The second movie literally acknowledges how our society looks at mental illness and mental health and how we
Interesting.
treat people who we should be helping and how we glorify the worst of us just for no reason other than people are bored. Um, I think it makes a bunch of really cool statements, a bunch of really cool comments on movies in general, but also it comments on itself.
Yeah.
It kind of is like watching Todd Phillips clean up his own mess. I
Hmm.
think that's the director, Todd Phillips, or whoever directed.
Interesting.
I'm guessing at the name, whoever directed the first Joker movie, but it's kind
Yeah.
of almost, hey, let's talk more about how you all as a society reacted to the first movie. Let's really talk about that.
Interesting.
Um, but I recommend that movie wholeheartedly. It's on Max, I believe, right now. You can watch
Okay.
it on Max if you have that. But I 100%, dude, you got to check that out.
Lady
Check out
Gaga
Joker
was
Fall
good.
Due. She was great, and you've heard
I
about the
like her.
musical
I don't
element?
care what people say. I hear there's musical things to it, and I don't mind that
It's half
because,
a
as you
musical.
know, I was the guy who briefly was at theater at NKU briefly, and I
It's half a
love
musical, and
musicals.
it's
And
used well.
yeah,
The musical part tells the story, and the themes of the music completely work within it. It's never. I will say this, and this isn't a spoiler. There's never a over the top like Wicked or Cats or like that kind of musical moment. The musical
don't you go
moments
after
are
Wicked?
very well. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying they're never that huge. They're very well done and very well used and proper for the scenes. The music
Yeah,
part actually helped it a lot.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm. So I recommend Red One and I recommend Joker Folly Do. I recommend a lot of things on this show and I recommend certain things to you.
You
And I
do.
think it's time to recommend something else.
Well, you know something you recommended to me that we didn't get to, but it just depends if we want to wrap it up or not.
Why is that? What did I recommend that I didn't do? I forget things.
Well, I can tell the way we're about to segue. We're going to do our shot.
Yeah, we are.
But you were also going to tell me that you have refound a love for Magic the Gathering, and I need to get into it.
You have to start
It
playing
seems like
Magic the Gathering.
it's something I'm very tempted to do. Get some Magic cards or whatever.
Let's
But I feel
let's
like
finish these
there's.
beers while we talk about Magic, and we'll finish these beers and do
What
the
are you
shot
talking
after our Magic.
about?
Do you have another beer?
No.
Fuck, hold on. Talk about Magic. Go ahead.
So I never really played Magic the Gathering. I know nothing about it. My big issue with why I haven't is the same reason I don't jump into Call of Duty about 3 months after people have started playing it, is I feel like I'm already behind. What's the point of a guy getting into Magic now who's going to take on someone who's played for 3 years, who has collected the most perfect deck, and will end up beating me? I don't know.
And to those in the chat, Bob in the chat saying I've wanted to but never played it. I'm going to tell you this: get Magic Arena, Magic the Gathering Arena. Get that game. It's free on Steam.
Or
Just get it on Steam.
Xbox. I don't know
It's
if it's free, but
it's not on.
you can get it on there.
Either way, Magic the Gathering Arena. I recommend getting it on. I have it on Steam because you can also play it on your phone, on your iPad, and honestly, the phone or iPad version is just as good. If you have a tablet, download it on that. Here's what it will
Okay.
do: it teaches you the game
Okay.
in about 2 or 3 practice matches to get started. Then it opens up this world where okay, you can play each way and it walks you through the process. It's never going to let you break the rules. It shows you the turns, it lights up what you can do. Here's what else: you can cross over real life cards into the game. For Christmas, my wife got me again. I got a 2-pack of Magic decks. So I have 2 decks now. I have a deck of bunnies and a deck of otters.
That's amazing.
I'm actually able to use those in the game. Now, if you buy a deck of Magic cards new, you get a card that has a code that you enter into Magic the Gathering Arena, and you can use that deck in the game. So you can practice with your
cool.
decks in the game to know how to use them in real life.
That's pretty cool, I gotta admit.
So that's what you need to do, because that's going to teach you. And then we can play it on here, because we can literally just put it up on the screen, and that would be content, sir.
I like it. I like it.
So Magic
You got a
Gathering
shot?
Arena. I have multiple shots. So here's what I'm doing over the next few weeks. I have 4 different shots that were part of my Christmas haul that are all from a company called Party Horses.
Party horse.
Party Horses.
Horses.
Oh,
Oh, not
horse.
like, hey.
not like hey.
Hey.
No. Nay.
Nay.
Not hey. Nay.
Got it.
No.
Got it.
Okay.
No party horse.
So I'm gonna clip that part out. That's good. So horses. So I have 4 shots from them, and they are all super silly shots. So I'm gonna ask you, do you want me to tell you all 4 of them ahead of time?
I don't know. I got kind of a silly one today that actually my mother and father found while out. They love to find random little bottles while they're out now to give to me.
That's what happens now. People just give me shots to go like, hey, take this on your podcast.
So, and you're going to love this because it's a brand that I laughed about a lot with you. What was my favorite one that you did?
Oh, Doughball.
Yes. Doughball's birthday cake whiskey. So that's what this one is birthday cake
I love
whiskey.
That.
That's what I'm going to try tonight. I figured a little bit of cake to end the year. It's the end of the year. We're going to start a new year next week. I have no idea still what I'm about to play tonight, but I'll figure it out.
I think I'm going to go ahead and introduce these and let you pick that way, because I feel like that's the funnest way to go through these.
Wait.
What?
Wait. Didn't you have a food?
Oh, fuck my life.
Mike, do you have a food that you need gloves for? That you may be skipping out on? You want to tell everybody what you got over there?
Do we want to do it this episode, or do we want to preview it this episode and do it for the first episode of 2025?
That's up to you. We could do it next week if you want, but you're not going to eat one until next week, right?
No, I won't open it. I'll save them for next week.
Was this a Christmas present? Where did you get them?
No, I just found these today.
You just found them? Found them because you knew it would be torture on the show?
Yes, these are literally just for the show. These are from Blue Diamond Almonds. These are their extreme Carolina Reaper almonds. So
God,
these
I kinda
are.
want you to eat one.
There was different flavors. There was hotter, and hot, like hot, and hotter. This is what they call hottest.
Yeah.
So there's a yellow
hotter,
and there's a
and
red.
Then Carolina Reaper.
Apparently, the red is the hottest label.
What does the top say with the slight swipe through it? There's no crying and snacking. Do those worry you?
They don't necessarily worry me.
No, I feel like they worry you because it's the first time we've ever gotten ready for a show, and you've shown me that you had a latex glove as a part of your show preparation.
I do have a latex glove because my fear was doing this during the show and because one thing I looked online, because I looked up people that had done these and eaten these, and the biggest thing they said is that the powder is very heavy. There's a lot of powder. So I didn't want to risk. I just didn't want to, in the middle of sitting at a desk with headphones in and kind of strapped into the show, I didn't want to risk having that on my fingers and not having anywhere to go.
Carolina Reaper dust on everything.
Right. That doesn't. Well, just having a hand that I just couldn't use. That way I could just take the glove off and then go on with the show.
Bob said that's a big bunch of nope. He's not the biggest fan of hot food, from what I understand, but Mike is. Mike loves it, don't you, Mike?
I'm okay with hot food. As I get older, though, I actually like hot food more. I make spicy cucumbers where I take a cucumber and I slice it up,
I
and
hate
in there
cucumber. It's
I'll
pointless.
I'll put soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, grated garlic, sesame seeds, sesame oil, rice wine
Mm.
vinegar,
It's kind of
and
like an
then
Asian spicy
chili,
cucumber.
yep, and then chili crisp, spicy chili crisp, and you shake it up and you just eat it like pickles. It's just like a spicy, quick like cucumber. It's like almost like a cucumber salad. But I will put enough chili crisp. I like enough chili crisp that when I'm eating it, my nose sweats. That's how much spice I like. I'm starting to like more
Nice.
spice as I get older. Um, so yeah, I think because it's so late in the show and we're already an hour in.
All right, all right. Next week, tune in, and we're gonna have Mike eating Carolina Reaper
Yep,
almonds.
next week,
Yes.
Carolina Reaper almonds, putting those down the face hole. So let's do a shot.
What's your four shots? Tell me about them.
So here's what we've got. The company is called Party Horses. Nay,
Horses.
not hey.
Yeah,
And
gotcha.
there's 4 flavors. The first one, this one might have to be the last one so we can compare it to other companies that do a very similar product. This is their Sinister Cinnamon,
Ooh.
which I'm
I've
assuming is a cinnamon
seen that.
whiskey. It's a very new brand. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's chocolate.
Don't think it's chocolate.
You said it's cinnamon whiskey. It says cinnamon on the label. You said you assume it's cinnamon. Of course it's cinnamon.
Well,
It's not
yeah,
chocolate.
but
You think they're liars? That's the cruelest company ever. You just mislabel all your shit.
hey, the next one is Pony Punch.
Pony Punch. Party horses. That's not
After
even.
that,
Yeah, yeah.
we've got Silly Fun Philly,
I don't know what the hell that is, but I like the look of the Philly on there.
and then Basil Banana. I don't know if that's supposed to be like basil, or if that's basil banana, or basil, if that's a different word.
Is
I don't
it
know what that
basil
means.
with an I?
I know, that's why I'm worried about it, because
Yeah.
it's Basel,
I
not
want you to do the
Basil.
silly one with me. I'm
Silly
gonna do
Fun
the
Philly.
birthday. You do silly fun Philly, and I'm gonna do birthday cake whiskey.
All right, I'm gonna do Party Horses Silly Fun Philly. Is there any
Silly
description
fun
of
Philly.
what flavor this is? Or I'm assuming this is going to be their birthday cake. But this is out of Louisville, Kentucky.
This smells
Party Horses, Kentucky.
like a white icing vanilla birthday cake. 100%.
Oh.
That doesn't smell like what you expected, or
What proof is yours? This is
mine's
70.
bottled in Fairfield, California. Mine's 70 proof, 35% alcohol.
I can smell the alcohol pretty heavy on this, but really mine doesn't taste like cake or smell like cake as much as it just smells like frosting. Like it literally smells like you just opened a jar
Of
of vanilla
frosting.
frosting after you did a shot. Like you can smell the booze on your own breath.
Yeah.
You just got your face in frosting. Like,
Interesting.
all right, but this is Party Horses, Silly Fun Philly. You got
Cheers to
cookie
2024.
dough.
Goodbye.
Cheers. Goodbye,
We'll see
2024.
you 2025. That wasn't terrible.
Yeah. Mine tastes actually like one of those like
Oh,
mine tastes like a donut. Mine doesn't even taste like cake. This is donut. It actually
Mine-
tastes more like a legit frosted donut.
you ever had one of those funfetti cupcakes?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. 100%. Funfetti cupcake. That was pretty good.
That must have been what they were going for with this Fun Philly.
Sorry,
I
guys.
guess.
It wasn't gross. I didn't have a freak out.
Yeah, mine was fine as well. Next week, I'm going to eat super spicy nuts. We're going to be back next week. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow. If you're listening to this afterward, wherever you get your podcasts,
spicy nuts.
it's gonna be so hot, literally.
Hot nuts.
But I'm Mike. He's Brendon. Make sure you follow us
nuts.
at the little channels you see down there at the bottom at that dude named Mike,
I
at
want you
that
to do it
dude named
tonight.
Brendon. You want it tonight?
No, I don't know.
I'm gonna hit the outro music, so you got to decide.
All right, hit the outro music. We'll let you eat it next week. Damn
All
it.
right.
So
We'll
excited.
see you all
for me to
next
eat
week.
hot nuts.
Make sure you go to 2dwh.com. Wherever you need to get this show, it's available there. We'll see you all next week. Need another one of these beers.
I got a little drop left.
Yep.